The Teslim Balogun Stadium, just like the Roe Park Sports Center in Yaba, Lagos, have been a beehive of sporting activities since non-contact sports got the nod to return. Athletes have been training again after months of inactivity due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Badminton, squash, table tennis, our players have all been busy with one tournament or the other. Officials say the protocols put in place for the restart of sport have not been violated, and monitoring committees can attest to this. For this reason, there is a call for contact sports to also resume. President AIPS Africa, Mitchel Obi, joins the program now. Well, Mitchel, let me start by asking you this. Mixed reactions have greeted the decision to allow sport resume at all in Nigeria. There are arguments that the country does not have the discipline and the right strategy to keep the strict coronavirus safety protocol for sport. What are your thoughts on this?
Anyone who understands how passionate Nigerians are when it comes to sporting matters will know why the reactions are very mixed. Again, if you take back the fact that the federal government, led by the Presidential Task Force, did in the first place say all sports should gradually open and even gave a go-ahead, which prompted a certain emotion among sportsmen who have over time been kept at home. That may have provoked the kind of reaction. But think about it once more. The sporting firmament is different, and I think it can become the showpiece, the mirror of all those who want to see how sports effectively can lead the way in fighting COVID-19. And I think that is why our sports should open effectively to allow for effective testing. Yes, we've seen even in recent cases where some clubs decided to start testing their players and some of them proved positive. If we didn't get to even assemble those players in the first instance, we may not ever have to test them. And sports is not where I think the infection will explode. You have the marketplaces in Nigeria. I don't know who enforces that. That's even the difference between sports and the other sectors. You have the political campaigns who enforce, the enforcement level is almost zero. But with sports, the enforcement can be thorough, because if these protocols are not respected, you can decide not to go on with the game.
Well, and if all sports resume across the country, will you describe or rather subscribe to a reopening behind closed doors in Nigeria? I mean, considering the fact that spectatorship for sports has not really been huge.
Yes, you must effectively test the waters. You have to start first with a closed door approach. And that reminds me of what the Chinese say, that the best closed door is that which is open. So we start with a closed door approach. And we don't even have the huge followership. In only specific cities in Nigeria, you can count the fans. Kano, Aba, name them just. That's where the fans really show their faces. In cities like Lagos, you may not really get so many fans these days in the stadium. Port Harcourt, you may play a game there, you may not. So we are used to a low level of spectatorship in some places, and that perhaps gives us the impetus to start sports and keep it at a closed door level, monitor the situation, gradually allow the fans and enable them to see the benefit of respecting the protocol. I think that should be a way. Those who say that we have low spectatorship and there is a need for a closed door approach to the sports, maybe giving us another reason why sports should return fully.
Well, the Sport Ministry recently relaunched the Principals Cup and has included 5 other sports to football. Do you subscribe to this initiative?
Yes, they say if you are going on a trip and you miss your way, the best way to start to do the trip is to come back to where you start and get the right bearings before you move. So if you miss your way, retrace your steps and get going. That's what we are doing. We are going back to where we used to get it right. We had it right in the early days of our nation when Principals Cup was the big thing. There we were mixing sports and school. And I think sports and education, that is a right combination. You can never get it wrong in that direction. And I think that's where to go. The minister, I don't know how courageous he is in terms of the level of implementation of some of these brilliant ideas. But the Principal Cup is an idea that has been tested over time, and all what we need to do is to really refresh it, get it in tune with the times, and see how effective it will be. These days, some people don't even want to think about how the schools can provide the backbone for our sports relaunch, but that's where it has to start. And I'm happy that they've expanded it to include other sports. That is good. But let's use the operational side of the ministry to get this going. I want to see how the 7 zones of the sports ministry can be effective. Let them be engaged in this program. And if you get them engaged, that means every corner of the country will be effectively touched. The schools, those involved with the schools will also be part of it. It's an idea whose time has long been noted, and I think it should come to fruition. I want to believe that the sports minister also is not getting particularly involved. The associations should also come into it, and the school federation, school sports federation, they should come into it. And so let's get all the necessary stakeholders giving sports the desired impetus and bringing the sports and school as a combination that we will cherish, a combination that can bring yield dividend tomorrow. And why not? It may help us in fighting so many issues. The issues of age cheating, the issue of getting those who are not within the school bracket, not knowing exactly how to expose their talent, and then all these academies sprouting without rules, without anybody getting to cross-check or scrutinize their operations. I think the time has come. With the Principal's Cup, the schools now will become the real bastion of enabling sports.
Mitchel Obi is the president, AIPS Africa. Thanks for joining the program. Well, Leicester City midfielder Wilfred Ndidi has joined the Super Eagles injury list and has pulled out